Welcome to New Day Cleveland. I'm David Moss, and we're sort of on the road today, and this is a show about, yes, I know it says grilling, but it's about barbecue. We're talking about grab-and-go barbecue. Barbecue joints where you go in, you sit down, and you enjoy those delicious flavors. Or how about barbecue at home? That's right, like today, I'm gonna make a pork sirloin tip that's cooked at 250 degrees. It comes out beautiful. Not like pulled pork, it's gonna be a little bit different. So to get the show started, I thought we should head first to the butcher's.
White Feather Meats is founded on transparency. That's one of the big things that we offer here. So when you come into our front door, we have several different species that we can offer to you. We have 100% grass-fed beef. It's probably our most popular, most volume seller. We have a non-GMO fed pork that's raised on Amish farms in Holmes County. We have free-range, organically fed chicken. We have, of course, our cornerstone, which is the American bison. We've since added elk and venison to our species offering. And then anything that we have here at White Feather Meats was processed and harvested in this facility. So when you come in here, that's where we're able to offer that transparency, because one of the #1 questions that people are asking today is, where did my meat come from? And that's a question that we're able to answer here at White Feather Meats. We know exactly where your meat came from, and we know every part of the process to take from that animal from a sustainable farming practice and convert it into a healthy meat for your freezer. The Bearded Butcher is my father. What happened was we were looking for a way to brand our products. A friend actually came up with a caricature based on a picture of my father. We started branding some of our products with that. And at the same time, we were looking for a seasoning that we could put on our products that was a all-natural or otherwise did not contain any anti-caking agents. MSG was a big one, and then we also wanted one that didn't have sugar. Actually, myself and my 2 brothers, maybe we were a little jealous. We thought, let's expand that and make seasoning flavors based on each of the other 3 Bearded Butchers. So our father became the original Bearded Butcher seasoning, and my brother Sean, who's the oldest, has a seasoning themed after him, which is Chipotle. My brother Seth has a seasoning named after him, which is Cajun. And then I myself have a seasoning named after me, which is the hot seasoning.
I come from the Akron area, and I come down here because their steaks are like the best steaks I've ever had in my life. And I am a steak connoisseur.
For us, the passion really comes from seeing the customer response to quality products that we provide for them. We enjoy nothing more than selling a quality product, having that customer return to us, tell us how much they liked it, and tell their friends about it, and we can continue to expand because we love to eat, and we love to eat clean, healthy products, and we also love to support sustainable farming, so that way these farmers are getting paid for a premium product that they're producing. They're getting a premium price, and it sustains their farming practices, and they can keep that going for generations to come. We sell the Big Green Egg Grill, which is a ceramic grill that uses organic lump charcoal, and we feel that's one of the best ways to cook any meat product, especially our meat products. Our customers tell us, and we found out ourselves, that you can purchase a product here, and if you have that Big Green Egg Grill, it's a restaurant quality or better experience every time you eat at home. We feel like providing the Big Green Egg Grill is the best cooking method that we knew to source for our product.
White Feather Meats is located in Creston, and of course that's in southern Medina County. Okay, I promised I was going to cook a little bit, right? So here we go. I've got some ingredients here. Let's get these together first. I've got some garlic. Let's set it over here. And we're going to take this garlic and we're going to cut it into little slivers. I wonder why we're doing that. Because we're going to stick this into a pork roast. And it's called a sirloin tip. And you might have seen these before at a place called Costco's or one of those stores where they sell them in bunches. They sell them like in packs of 4, and it's a very inexpensive cut. I've got some garlic there. Now I'm going to take this rosemary, pull it down here, take it off there, where does it stick? Chop it up. This is so simple, it's unbelievable. This rosemary is going to give the pork some great flavor, and the way we're going to get it on the pork, not just on the grill, is by putting it into a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil. Okay, we got that. That over here. I've got these nice scallions, green onions. What I did was I cleaned them off, I cut off the root, and we're gonna stick this in our roast also. And then your favorite dry rub. I always make that stuff that Emerald makes. It's sort of fun, it's sort of good. You can look it up online, Emerald's rub, and you can make it yourself, or you can buy some rub. It's always cheaper to make it yourself. Okay, so here's the roast. You ready? Da-da-da-da, this is it. This is the sirloin tip pork roast, and it weighs about 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds. When you buy these, they come 4 altogether, and it's only $1.69 a pound, which is unbelievable. $1.69 a pound, that's half the price of hamburger, and this is really good stuff. Not gonna come out like pulled pork. We're gonna slice this like a pork roast because we're gonna cook it at 250 for about maybe 2.5 or 3 hours. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I've got this knife, right? I'm gonna take the knife and make a cut in it, and before I take the knife out, I'm gonna slide a garlic down inside where I made the cut. Same way over here. Put a nice cut in it. Do one over here. If you don't do it when you put the knife in there, the thing closes up a little bit again, and then you have to start over again, so to speak. Okay, there's a nice cut. Put that in there. And before I turn it over, we got these scallions, right? Let's get rid of the rubber band. We're not going to need that today. And we're going to take the same thing. We're going to put one of these, stick it in there. Remember that fly we see in the studio once in a while? I think he's following me home. Okay, so I put the onion in the same way. Put a nice cut in there. So I get a little deeper. Slide the onion in. Cut it off. Do a turn over. We'll do it the same way over on this side. Another thing about Emerald I learned from him, he always says he doesn't like any one-sided seasoned food, so we season both sides. Nice, huh? I think you're getting the idea. So it's pretty simple to do. Don't stab yourself, that's all. Okay, now I've got enough of that in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the dry rub on it. See, liberal, right? Liberal means a lot. Unless you're talking about politics. And I stay out of politics. Whoops, almost lost that one. It's a little slippery. Okay, so we got that on there, right? Now, we've got a little bit of the rosemary stuff. We'll put that on there. Flip it over. Some on the other side. Looking good, right? Now what do? You get your grill up to 250, indirect heat. So if you don't have like a blockade in there, just put the coals on one side and put the roast on the other. Now, I'm gonna take this, put it right in here, close the door, and I bet you in 2.5 or 3 hours, we're gonna have a beautiful sirloin tip roast of the pork version. Okay, when we come back, a whole lot more barbecue. We're gonna have some fun on New Day Cleveland.
You can very easily undercook brisket and you can very easily overcook brisket. But when I decide brisket is done is if I can take it and I can make a 1/4 inch, like a pencil thick slice, and I'm able to do that without it falling apart. That's kind of like the barometer for where you want to be.
Hey Zach, thanks for having us to Smoking Q's.
Of course, you're always welcome.
Yeah, fantastic place. So where are we? What town are we in? What street are we on here?
So we're in Mayfield Village, and we're right on Som Center, just past Wilson Mills, just north of Wilson Mills.
I love the signs too when you pull in like this sign on the wall over here. It says slow pig funeral ahead.
Yeah, we thought about putting that on the kitchen door, but we didn't want to upset anybody.
That's right. So what's happening in the kitchen there? You know, you talk about barbecue and everybody's got like a different personality. They talk about Texas, Kansas City, you know, all different types. What's the barbecue like here at Smoking Q's?
Well, for here, we shoot for very sort of central Texas style barbecue because people, you know, don't necessarily know this, but Texas is, you know, a large state. And depending on what part of Texas you're in, the barbecue is very different. But in central Texas, brisket's king. And there's a very big influence of black pepper in the spice rubs. Different people do different things. Some people do just salt and pepper, like purists, but we add in some other stuff here. But black pepper forms like a sort of big foundation.
My wife Kim is sort of a brisket specialist. Wherever she goes, she orders the brisket. Man, she loved your brisket here. And she liked the fact that you guys slice it a little thicker than a lot of people do.
Brisket, when it's, you can very easily undercook brisket and you can very easily overcook brisket. But when I decide brisket is done is if I can take it and I can make a 1/4 inch, like a pencil thick slice, and I'm able to do that without it falling apart. That's kind of like the barometer for where you want to be.
Yeah, that's how the judges do it. If it comes apart and it's like the size of a pencil, it's no good, it's out.
Yeah.
But this is good. And I also noticed too here at Smoking Q's, there's not much sauce on the meat, the sauces are on the side.
Yeah, because that's a big thing in Texas too. That everything is dry rubbed and it's not like heavily sauced. And we have 3 different sauces. We have our sort of standard barbecue sauce. It's kind of middle ground, so it's got a good amount of acid, a little bit of heat, and some sweetness. For people who don't like any spice, we have our wimpy sauce.
That's why I was laughing just then. I looked at the sauce, it says wimpy.
Yeah, it's people who don't like any spice. You know, I like to have fun
good.
with things. And then we have our hot sauce, which we make with mangoes, habaneros, and roasted jalapenos. And we call it HOYC hot sauce because it puts the hair on your chest.
That's some pretty good stuff here. This appetizer item, what is it? It's a beautiful looking item.
So this is our quesamole, which is like a hybrid. So we put guacamole in the bottom, some fajita peppers on top of that, a little bit of our house-made queso, and then some more Monterey Jack cheese on top, and then we broil it. It's very, low calorie, figure friendly.
My kids would love that.
Yeah, and we serve it with a trio of our house-made salsas and house-made chips.
Okay, so we got ribs over here too, and I see a great selection of beers. So what's going on with the beers here?
Yeah, so we have 16 different beers on tap. A lot of local things. We have a lot of stuff from Platform, Double Wing, Great Lakes, and Market Garden. We also have, Budweiser, Bud Light, Miller Lite. And then we have a Texas staple, Shiner Bock. That's, you go to Central Texas and get barbecue, that's what everybody drinks. So it was necessary to have.
So yeah, I was going to say, you don't see that around here. That's a pretty interesting item. Enough talking here. I think it's time to start eating some barbecue, right?
Sure, yeah.
When you come in, say hi to Zach, say hello to everybody. What day are you closed? Sunday?
We're closed on Sundays.
Okay, so you can come down for lunch, dinner.
Yep, we're open for lunch and dinner every day. We open up at 11:30, and basically we stay open. Kitchen stays open until 10 o'clock every day.
On Tom Center Road, right near Wilson Mills, right off of 271, easy to find. Come down and have some Q.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Thank you. Well, we've sampled some great barbecue on the east side, so I say let's head west. We're going to Parma to a place called Barabiku.
Barabiku is a Taino word that is the derivative of the American word barbecue. It means sacred fire. We decided to choose it because of that exact fact, that it's the base of barbecue, and that's kind of what we wanted to go back to, was to try and not make it as much about different kinds of regional barbecue, but just making really good food. One of our biggest sellers is our cupcake chicken. It's a chicken thigh that we brine overnight, and then we take the chicken bone out of the thigh, re-season it, and then we wrap them back up, and we hold them in cupcake tins overnight, and then we cook them in the smoker. And it ended up working really well. That's where the name came from. We do Texas-style beef brisket. We do a candied baby back rib. They're 12 bones, 3-pound average per rack, so you get a whole bunch of meat with them. Try and keep it interesting. Try and keep it fresh for us too, because we're all here, 18 hours a day, 6 days a week. So we're here working hard for you, trying to make good food. This is our pulled pork. Our pulled pork goes 16 hours. It gets brined, injected, rubbed, and then we throw them in the smoker for 16. We smoke them with cherry and fresh peach wood. This is for our chopped brisket sandwich. So any of the pieces that have a little bit too much crust on them, or pieces that are very thin, chop these down into small pieces, mix them with some homemade beef stock, and serve them up for chopped brisket. Once it's gone, it's gone. It's first come, first serve. We only have one smoker. We wanted to keep it small batch. One, to try and entice people to come in and see us, but two, because smokers are really expensive, and we're just 4 guys doing this on our own because we love doing it. We enjoyed the barbecue that we've come up with, so we decided to open up a restaurant to try and showcase it. It's approachable to anybody. Everybody likes barbecue. It's stuff that people do at their house, but they don't typically have time to do it. We'll take that time. We'll spend the 18 hours to smoke that brisket. We'll spend the 14 hours to smoke that pork butt. It's fun to see the smile on people's faces when they dig into a rack of ribs.
A little bit juicy?
Barabiku is located on Ridge Road in Parma. They're open Tuesday through Saturday. They open at 11 and they close at 8 unless they sell out first. Okay, coming up after the break, it's Texas style barbecue.
You want to taste the meat first with the rub and the smoke and take that combination into your palate. Then if you want to add sauce, you can.
Welcome back to our backyard barbecue. Are you ready for ribs? We're dining at Big Yui's in Cuyahoga Falls.
Check these here. They're looking fabulous. Another about 10 more minutes. Big Yui's, yep. That was my dad. It was like his nickname. Kind of nickname he acquired through his neighborhood. He hated it, but he loved it. He always wanted a barbecue place, so here I am. It's just a lot of home cooked feel, a lot of love. We just don't throw everything together. I mean, it takes time. We got my own sauce. It's my dad's recipe. And we got southern ribs, brisket, pork, just stuff I grew up with. Side dishes, our mac and cheese is #1. It's my dad's recipe. Pretty much it's made the same way, just bigger portions now. Put my dad's pigeon peas and rice on. It's something my family makes a lot in Miami, Florida. We have collard greens. They're fresh. We cut them, put a little smoked ham hock in there, and just let them go nice and slow.
We got the lemon pie, which is our Kool-Aid pies. We got our strawberry right here. We got some black cherry. We got orange, cherry, which is our main one, grape, and then we also have everybody's favorite pineapple. Everybody's never heard of it before. That's the main response we get, but once they try it, they love it. It's a nice sweet dessert. Real light too, it's like a cheesecake almost.
Smoke can be overpowering sometimes. We got some ribs on here today. We grill them for about 4 hours or so. We keep them on a low slow, around 200. We got some juice here. Apple cider vinegar, some liquid smoke, keep them moist. The taste is phenomenal. Everyone does their ribs a little bit differently. I believe these ribs are top notch of the line. That's how we've always made them growing up. And so we just want to keep that tradition alive. Then we do also brisket. We smoke that for about 12 or 14 hours. About 225. We use a hickory wood, and we use a little bit of apple. Got a nice crust. Family is a big part of life, and that's what we hope to bring, and you enjoy your experience when you get it. If you want the best food in town, you gotta come out here.
While we're still cooking here, we got the pork sirloin tip in here, 250 degrees. Never open the big green egg. So how do I know what temperature it's going to be? I put it in an internal thermometer on the inside. So this is going to go beep, beep, beep at 145 degrees. That's when I wrap it in foil, take it out and let it rest for a little bit. But before we do that, we're even going to make a sauce with cherries, shallots, thyme, a little bit of balsamic vinegar, and of course, red wine. But first, we're going to head to Worcester for Texas barbecue. It's Omahoma Bob's.
Well, Bob's Barbecue started up about 9 years ago, and it came out of a necessity for a Texas-style barbecue. Texas-style is a dry rub. Sauce is considered a condiment on the side. You want to taste the meat first, with the rub and the smoke, and take that combination into your palate. Then if you want to add sauce, you can. We suggest sparingly. If you put too much on, that's all you're going to taste. The proper name is Omahoma Bob's Barbecue. And that was brought about by our 3-year-old when we lived in Salt Lake City. We were transferred to Oklahoma City, and she couldn't say Oklahoma. So it would be, Elizabeth, where are we going? And she'd say Omahoma City. So that's how the name came about. She reminded us of that when we talked about opening this. We lived in the Texas and Oklahoma market for 11 years, and that's when I had my corporate life. And finally, it was the decision came that the rats were getting bigger and meaner, and it was just not fun anymore. So this was hometown for me. This is where I grew up. We do use a certified Angus product on our beef, and it does make a big difference. We go for quality. Quality will bring you back a second time. Price will only bring you back one time after you taste it, then if it's not good, you won't come back. We do chicken. We do, our wings are outstanding. We do a smoked wing, and then it can be tossed in different sauces if you like. Our brisket is one of our big sellers. Our pulled pork is our #1 seller, and it's all hand pulled, and all the cartilage and connector and all that stuff comes out of it. So we do quite a few different things. Our beans are all cooked in the smoker. We're pretty proud of what we've accomplished, and the thing that really makes you feel good is when somebody walks up to you before they leave and ask you, if I'm Bob, and they say, I want to shake your hand and thank you for bringing this to Worcester. I mean, those are the things you can't pay somebody to do.
Omahoma Bob's is located in downtown Worcester. And of course the barbecue is going to continue. When we come back, it's all about ham, turkey, and a whole lot more.
And I'll let these smoke for 4 or 5 hours. And here on the bottom rim, what we have here is our original pork, and I'm going to let that one go for 8 hours.
Welcome back to New Day Cleveland. Yes, it's a grilling show, a barbecue backyard kind of show, but we come indoors because we're going to make some cherry sauce for our lovely roast that's on the Big Green Egg. But before we do that, we're going to head to Canton, to a place that's been making pork sandwiches since 1922.
Canton's been here since 1922, and it was known as Spikers. The menu here is kind of simple. We have, of course, our ham, which we do on the spit. We do the spit approximately about every other day. We try to keep our hams as fresh as we can. We also have the original pork, which is your fresh hams, which is done on the spit. And then, of course, we have the roast beef, which is not done on the spit. But we did start a new turkey, and the turkey breast is done now on the spit here also. And of course, our menu then, we have our known for the bean soup, and it's made in premises. We also have chili on, but our chili comes from our Taggart store. And of course, we have the macaroni salad and coleslaw, which is made at the Taggart store. These are the original recipes, goes way back to the Spikers, and we kept it on. It's a different barbecue than what a lot of people think. People think they're coming in and gonna get ribs. We don't do ribs. But once people taste the ham, they all come back. They say they've never had ham taste that way because we do it on the spit. And that just puts a little bit more flavor into it that makes it just that little bit special.
So right now I have some hams going, our famous hams and original pork that we have to offer, which is very delicious, traditional. So I'll step on in. Right here is our in-house hams that we use, which is our semi-boneless. And I'll let these smoke for 4 or 5 hours. And here on the bottom rim, what we have here is our original pork. Now that is our fresh ham. So there's a non-processed pork shoulder there. And I'm gonna let that one go for 8 hours. And we're gonna let those rest, and tomorrow we'll come back and slice them up and have them ready for lunch. And since not too many people have that long for lunch, we're gonna add a little bit of water to it, get it nice and steamed. The steam is gonna cook the meat a little bit faster, and actually it's gonna bring out those flavors as well. The only thing we do apply to the sandwich itself is our relish as necessary. So we'll grab a relish. Say a big tablespoon should be appropriate enough for the serving. If you like extra, we will very much so happy to give you extra. And here's our famous original pork sandwich.
Dessert, of course, we use the Troyer's pie. And of course, the ice cream, you know that's got to come from Taggart's Ice Cream. And we do the vanilla ice cream here. And of course, Michael comes up with these milkshakes here because we got special requests on milkshakes here. So he'll do the strawberry and the chocolate milkshakes along with the vanillas. And so that's our simple dessert, nothing else. Any holiday, we can do the hams outside, we can put on a semi, we do the tavern, and we do the spirals. The other thing we have in special order too is we do a meat platters. And we've got all the different meats that we just spoke about. Of course, you got the ham, you got the turkey, the roast beef. You can put cheese onto if you like. Of course, you got the relish with this now. We're located on 7th Street, 1401 7th Street Northwest in Canton, Ohio, right at the foot of the McKinley Monument and right through the parks from the Football Hall of Fame.
Kennedy's is located in Canton, but now we're in the kitchen. The roast is roasting in the backyard on the big green egg, and we're making a cherry sauce. And I started with 4 tablespoons of butter, and in that goes a whole cup of shallots. And when I cut these shallots up, which looks like an onion, a little bit smaller, I cut them in little slivers. So I'm gonna soften these, and these are gonna take maybe, I don't know, 3 minutes, 4 minutes to soften. About 2 minutes into the shallots cooking, we're gonna put in these beautiful cherries. And the way I made these cherries is I bought fresh cherries that were sweet. I pitted them with this crazy little tool here. Put a cherry in there, knocks the seed right out. I do it now, or I would ruin my grilling shirt because it's just too beautiful to get cherry juice on right now. Okay, so I've got my cherries in there. So when these shallots have been in there about 3 or 4 minutes, the cherry's been in there about 2 minutes. Now we know we're in pretty good shape, so we're gonna get that going. And we're gonna put a little bit of red wine in here too. So put the foil off the top. Doesn't take me long to open a bottle of wine, I'll tell you that. There you go. So nice little dry red wine. We're gonna wait just a second for that. Before we put the red wine in, a little Gallucci's balsamic vinegar. This is their own store brand, and it is good stuff. So we're gonna put in about a tablespoon of that. Ooh, you know that's gonna give it some kind of personality. I'm gonna cook that in there a little bit. That looks good to me. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of that red wine in there, about 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup. And for the crowning touch, we're gonna put a little bit of thyme in there. If it's fresh thyme, put in about a teaspoon. If it's dry thyme, use about a 1/4 spoon. So I'm gonna use about a 1/2 because this was fresh thyme, but guess what? It dried out in my refrigerator. So there you go. It's like homemade dry thyme. But it is really good. You don't wanna overdo thyme though. Let's get a little smell of this. Keeping the shirt out of danger. Okay, we got some beautiful sauce for our pork. Our pork's gonna come off the big green egg pretty soon, but guess what? Coming up after the break, a whole lot more barbecue because it is a barbecue show.
A lot of the stuff that you'll see here has been donated to us from local fire, police, and military. So these are actual local heroes that you'll see on our walls.
I'm always looking for new and different places, so almost in my neighborhood at Cedar Lee, there's a place called Ribstick's New Barbecue. I come in here and I find Jay Lee.
Wow.
And what makes this barbecue new other than it's just new?
Well, my cooking philosophy and then my cooking approach is a little bit different than traditional style.
So I wondered about that. So when I came in, I ordered some ribs. And when I ordered some ribs, the ribs aren't the kind of ribs that fall off the bone. They're a little different kind, aren't they?
That's right.
How would you describe them?
Well, actually, I'm not following Texas style, or I'm not following Carolina style, because I'm trying to just focusing more on just temperature control. Okay, the idea came out from the kind of sous vide technique, but this kind of small kitchen, wow, too many just customers just showing up at one time. I couldn't follow up the kind of the demands, but I'm catching up that kind of the temperature control things in my cooking. That's why it's a little bit different.
So when I came in the front door today, it's interesting. A lot of people come up to me right away and go, oh, it's really good, it's really good. They see the camera and they want to tell everyone.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah, and it's different. And if Jay Lee sounds like he's smart about this, it's because it's Jay Lee, PhD.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, so I see on your wall, you got your diploma up there, you got your graduation cap. What's your doctorate in?
Well, I got my doctoral degree in hospitality management, and then I taught about the hospitality marketing and then food service operations, such and such. But nowadays, I'm just barbecue man.
He's the barbecue man. And let's go through some of the great things here.
Yeah.
Like my boss loves the rib tips. I got something.
Yeah.
He liked them on.
The rib tips, the weight for making, because when I got my whole just spare ribs, I actually make the beautiful shape, but I got many trims out. So I thought that maybe rather to just throw it away, maybe I can do something else.
It's like putting away the ugly sister.
No. But I'm making beautifully. I mean, I'm trying to develop something kind of more hammy flavor.
Yeah.
A little bit chewier.
Oh yeah. I noticed that about.
Yeah.
I saw the brisket. The brisket was beautiful. My wife's a brisket person. She loved the brisket. Thought that was great, beautiful, tender. You make pulled pork, but the pulled pork is a little more like old school, isn't it?
That's right.
And what about side dishes? What kind of side dishes
Well,
are
we
popular?
have many different kind of options, but let me ask you one thing. What kind of side dish would you like to have? Just if you go to any kind of barbecue joint.
Well, I always like the beans.
Okay.
I always like beans. I always like some kind of, I don't know, some kind of slaw, like a salad kind of thing.
So our side is based on the recommendations from the customers. Like, traditional old school way, like, mac and cheese, coleslaw.
Mac and cheese?
Yeah, baked bean. But I'm really bit focusing more on nutritional value. So we actually focus more on for daily side for more green option.
Green.
That way people can just choose, okay, maybe I can just pick the daily side because it's special. So that way people can choose the balance of the
And
nutrition.
while we're talking about choosing, he's got a whole bunch of good beers you can choose from. He's got some great cookies. One was, I saw was a potato chip cookie or something like that.
Well, my manager, Luis, is really experienced baker. So we bake our bun every in the morning. Yeah, from scratches, and then he baked these cookies from scratches too.
So check it out. It's called Rib Sticks New Barbecue.
New barbecue.
New barbecue. And are there any other languages you can teach us while we're here?
I'm from South Korea, not North Korea. Kim Jong-un, no. So just casual things. Thank you means 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's great to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Rib Sticks is located at Cedar Center. That's on Cedar, right near Warrensville. Okay, now it's time to head back to Parma, and guess what? You better get there before noon, and there's a good reason.
Mission Barbecue was first established in Baltimore. In 2011, we opened our first restaurant on 9/11, intentionally so that we would always remember those folks that ran in while others were running out, and have a place to honor and respect our American heroes, our police, fire, military, and first responders. On top of the great mission is our food, which is all oak smoked, dry rubbed, made in-house from scratch. There's no freezers in here, there's no microwave, so everything that you see is made from scratch in-house by our great teammates every day. Personally, I love our smoked brisket. It's dry rub, smoked anywhere from 16 to 17 hours overnight. It's got a delicious bark on the outside, and you can get it two ways. You could get lean brisket, which is going to have a lot more bark on it, a little bit more steak-like, or you can get our moist brisket, which has a little more marbling in it, so you can get the brisket either way. As far as the sides go, you can't go wrong with macaroni and cheese, made with 5 cheeses, fresh every day. That's our #1 seller. Our fries are hand-cut in-house every day. And of course, we have triple smoked baked beans they also have our brisket smoked inside of them, and the beans are smoked as well. It's Texas-inspired barbecue, but it's a little taste of all around the country. So you can get South Carolina pulled pork. You can get ribs from Kansas City. You can get a traditional brisket from Texas. But the great part about it is we have homemade signature sauces from all those different regions. So the meats are dry rubbed, but you can dress it up however you like, whatever your taste may be. I have sausage and turkey. The sausage is made specifically for us from a small company in Texas called the Syracuse Sausage Company. The smoked turkey is phenomenal. It's rosemary, sage, black pepper rub, smoked for about 4 hours with red oak, and then sliced to order. Throughout the year, we sell these large cups for a $2 donation. The charities vary throughout the year, from the USO to right now we're selling them for the Parma Police and Fire Department. So they'll vary throughout the year, but if you buy these cups, it's always going to go to a great charity. To honor our country, and most importantly to honor our American heroes, we play the national anthem every day at noon. We don't do that because we have to. We do it because we want to. It's an American company, and we're proud to be a part of this great country, and we want to honor and respect the flag every day. The decor that you'll see is all made up of American heroes. Some of them, we start with a core package of photos and pictures and jerseys, but a lot of the stuff that you'll see here has been donated to us from local fire, police, and military. So these are actual local heroes that you'll see on our walls. Just look for the deuce and a half with the flags flying off the side. Every one of our restaurants has a 2.5 ton personnel carrier with a smoker on the back. We can bring that to your party, your graduation parties. We can got it smoking up in the parking lot. So if somebody wants it for a catering event, it's always available.
Mission Barbecue is located in Parma, and it's easy to spot. There's that big tank right out in front. And of course, they have a second location in Canton. We have a whole lot more barbecue coming up right after the break. The cool thing about coming here is the smell outdoors. When you come outside, come up the street, the smokers are outside here on Madison Avenue.
Yeah, you definitely smell the smoke. The neighbors actually, we were a little, at first we were a little worried that we were going to be a nuisance to the neighborhood, but it did not work out that way.
So here we are on Madison Avenue, at the corner of Madison and what?
Chesterland.
And Chesterland, and it says Woodstock on the door. How'd you come up with the name Woodstock for a barbecue place?
It just went really well, wood and the Woodstock. It's actually a long story, but it works pretty good with the whole theme.
So that's the abbreviation of the story, I'm sure, because you said it's a long story. But the cool thing about coming here is the smell outdoors. When you come outside, the smokers are outside here on Madison Avenue.
Yeah, you definitely smell the smoke. At first, we were a little worried that we were going to be a nuisance to the neighborhood, but it did not work out that way at all.
It's like advertising on the street.
It smells really good up and down the street.
I saw some great things going to the smoker. Let's take a look at some of this stuff here now. What do you have on this platter right here?
On this platter, we have brisket, smoked pulled pork, some dry rub ribs, dry rub wings, and pickles, onions, and cornbread.
A little cornbread here. And I got to tell you, the outside of this brisket, that dry rub on it was beautiful, like a bark.
Yeah, it is a nice bark.
Very nice. Okay, and we got some sides over here.
We have collard greens with bacon, smokehouse beans. It has pineapple and bacon, and some cheesy potatoes.
Okay, so what's your last name?
Tagliati.
Well, that sounds Italian to me. What does an Italian guy know about barbecue?
Well, I did a lot of traveling around the United States and picked up a lot of good things from going to a lot of barbecue places.
Yeah. So you love barbecue?
I do love barbecue.
I got to tell you, the place is great too. You come inside the place. This used to be what, like an old shot and beer bar a long time ago?
It was an old man's dive bar, and it had carpet that was 25 years old, and we fixed it all up, and it's pretty nice now.
Smells better now, I bet, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, I see all the walls in here. Is this all repurposed wood, or what is it?
This is all wood from Amish country, all rough cut shorts, and basically they were all planed through a sawmill to make them really little, and we put it up, and it looks really good.
It looks great, and I love the patio. Like when it gets to the nice weather, you open the doors, and it's all right open to the street.
Right, we have another 5 tables out there and about 20 seats on the patio.
And I noticed a whole bunch of taps back there. I see some pretty good looking drinks here.
We have 20 taps, a lot of good draft beer. Here we have Woodstock Smoke Lager, which is brewed by Buckeye Brewing Company down the street. Griffin Cider, which is also right down the street, and that's a Great Lakes Edmund Fitzgerald.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, right?
Yeah.
And which one do you like the best?
I like the Woodstock Smoke Lager and the cider.
Yeah. I like the smell of things in here. I like the menu too. The menu's, so it's not a very big menu, but there's a whole bunch of things on it.
Yeah, we decided that we were never going to have the menu get any larger than that piece of paper.
This is great.
Which works out really well.
I love it. You know what else I love in this place? There's eclectic art in here. It's pretty cool. I see an album cover back over there from Woodstock.
That is a Woodstock album cover.
That is great. That's got a lot of history to it. So in Lakewood, Detroit's getting all the action all the time. That's the hot spot. So what's happening? How would you describe what's happening here on Madison Avenue?
In the summertime, there is a lot more foot traffic. It's a pretty good neighborhood, and there's a lot more places opening up. I think it's going to be great.
And it's really easy to find Woodstock, I'll tell you that, because you just roll down the windows and take a deep breath, and it just smells fantastic, and it's going to taste fantastic. Okay, still cooking here at Chateau Moss, and we've got the pork sirloin tip roast in here. It's all finished now. So what you do is, it's gone to 145 on the inside. When it gets to 145 on the inside, you take a piece of foil, you wrap it up in the piece of foil, and then you let it sit in the house for 30 minutes before you slice it. So I've already done that today. So I put that back there, get rid of the foil, pretend that happened. Okay, now I take it off the grill, I'm gonna set it right here, close this up, and we're going to take a look at it, see what we got going on here. So, like I said, it's $1.69 a pound for this baby. And you got that garlic that's in it. So like I said, when you buy that pack at one of those big stores like Costco, there's usually 4 of them in there for about 15 bucks. And you can see each one is good for maybe 3 people, 4 people. So it means you can really put on a little feast. So this is a lot different than the pork butt. The pork butt you cook to almost 199, 200 degrees, and that could take 12 hours. It could take 14 hours. I made one the other day in the Big Green Egg, 14 hours. But this one, 2.5 to 3 hours for this. I cut it almost a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch thick, and that keeps it nice and gives you a little mouthfeel, really nice and tender. And of course, we made the cherry sauce inside. Bring the cherry sauce here. Top. Okay, we've got the nice cherry sauce there. You can garnish it with something else if you like, but I think you're in pretty good shape with that right there. It is going to be a terrific dish. You're going to like it. The recipe is on the website, both the sauce and the pork. And of course, you can make the sauce a little spicier by putting a little red pepper flakes in it or something like that. So that's the cool thing about barbecuing in the backyard. You do whatever you want because you are the master of the grill. What do you think of that, huh? I hope you had a good time. I had a great time. I'll see you on the next New Day Cleveland. So long.
Thank you.